It was a quiet afternoon, a rare moment of peace for the couple as they relax together. But their moment is shattered by a frantic banging on the door. The man panics and pushes her to hide. The girl is unwilling, but he forces her into the bedroom and shuts the door. In the room, the girl sees something she shouldn't have seen. But after the man returns, the girl is gone. They are doctors and firefighters, professions dedicated to saving lives. But who will be there to heal their own wounds? As a surgeon, Mi-soo was brilliant, but consumed by a reckless overconfidence that would lead to a fatal mistake. She dismisses a patient's symptoms and sends them home, only for the patient to collapse at the hospital entrance minutes later. When the grieving husband understands why, a storm of pure rage erupts, and he lunges at Mi-soo. But a firefighter, Kang-il, steps between them. He doesn't raise his hands. He doesn't fight back. He simply takes the blow. Because in the husband's wild, grief-stricken eyes, he sees a ghost, the reflection of his own bottomless sorrow from years ago. He recognizes this particular brand of pain, and calmly, quietly, he diffuses the man's fury. For Mi-soo, however, the damage is done. A lawsuit threatens to destroy everything she's worked for. Her career, her future, all hanging by a single thread. That's when a desperate, morally gray idea is born. Find the firefighter who witnessed the assault and convince him to testify that the grieving husband is a violent man. She finds Kang-il and puts on her best act. Sweetness, gratitude, anything to win him over. But this man, who carries a universe of genuine pain in his heart, looks at her manufactured charm not with anger, but with a quiet, profound disappointment. He sees her for exactly what she is.
그래도 그냥 눈 감아주면 그건 법치 사회가 아니지.
With her career on the line, Mi-soo comes up with a new, bolder plan. If Kang-il won't help her, she'll just have to make him fall in love with her. After all, boyfriends do anything for their girlfriends, right? She wastes no time. She finds Kang-il amid the chaos of chasing down 100 escaped chickens. Surrounded by squawking birds and frantic firefighters, she walks right up to him and, with a perfectly straight face, asks him to go on a date.
나랑 연애 안 할래요?
When one plan fails, Mi-soo simply tries another, each one more extreme than the last. This time, she fakes a suicide attempt on a bridge, calling emergency services and specifically requesting Kang-il as her rescuer. But when he arrives, he finds her not in tears, but standing casually with a sneering smile. He is left utterly speechless by her audacity. Her fake crisis, however, is about to become a real one. As she turns to gloat, she loses her footing and actually slips. Kang-il's instincts kick in. He lunges forward, grabbing her just in time. He saves her from the fall, but not from the embarrassment. Dangling awkwardly from his grip, a sudden gust of wind reveals everything under her skirt.
야, 나 지금 죽느냐 사느냐 마당에 지금 그게 문제야?
야, 나한테 문제 안 보지 마!
나 지금 안 보고 어떻게 구해?
Furious and completely out of options, Kang-il hauls the troublemaker Mi-soo straight to the police station. But inside, she spots an opportunity. A recruitment poster for volunteer firefighters. If he won't come to her world, she decides, she'll just have to invade his. Her first day as a volunteer throws her right into the fire. A drunken man is threatening to jump from a rooftop. While the team hesitates, Kang-il's solution is brutally simple. He tackles the man, sending them both plunging onto the safety airbag below. The sheer, reckless bravery of the act leaves Mi-soo stunned. As a doctor, her entire career is built on precision and calculated risks. This man, however, seems to have a death wish. But she is undeterred. Mi-soo uses her new position to invite the team out for drinks, just another step in her grand plan. At the dinner, she sticks to Kang-il like glue, relentlessly trying to win him over. For Kang-il, her persistence is no longer just annoying, it's becoming unbearable.
그렇게 거머리처럼 따라다니는데.
따라다녀요, 내가? 그쪽을?
그거 아니야?
지금 그쪽이 뭔가 단단히 착각하시는 모양인데 내가 지금 그쪽을 좋아서 따라다니는 거예요.
She stubbornly pulls Kang-il back to the table, refusing to take no for an answer. A notoriously bad drinker, his defenses begin to crumble after a few drinks forced on him by Misu. Soon enough, he staggers over to a neighboring table, grabs a random stool, and hugs it like a long-lost friend. The bizarre display makes Misu cringe with embarrassment. But when the man at the table called him a bastard, he lunged at the man and started a fight. However, he was so drunk that he was easily knocked down. Seeing him on the floor, Misu doesn't hesitate for a second. In a flash, she steps in and, with a single practiced move, takes the other man down herself. Even back at the station, Kang-il refuses to let go of the stool, which looks just like one he and his late wife used to own. They were deeply in love, a simple happiness shattered by a cruel twist of fate. 3 years had passed, but the wound had not healed. He was a man still living in his memories. It's a secret Mi-soo soon uncovers herself. While riding in his car, she spots a small locket hanging from the rearview mirror. Inside is a photo of a smiling woman. "Is this your wife?" she asks. When Kang-il says yes, she feels frustrated. All her effort and elaborate plans suddenly feel like a joke. She had been trying to win over a man who wasn't available. However, as she thinks about it alone, the frustration fades. She starts to understand. Maybe the locket was hiding a secret.
혹시 죽었어요?
부자니까.
The question clearly distracts Kang-il. His focus slips, and he accidentally rear-ends the car in front of them. The minor jolt of the crash is nothing compared to the shock on Mi-soo's face. Seeing her completely stunned expression, something unexpected happens. Kang-il bursts out laughing. It's not a small chuckle, but a deep, genuine laugh. The kind he hasn't let himself feel in 3 years. Once the moment passes, the walls go back up. He looks at her, serious again. "You know the truth now," he says. "So you can stop wasting your time on me."
아니, 젊고 예쁘고 앞날 창창한 애가 연애 좀 하자는데 그게 왜 싫은데요? 에?
Trying to ease the tension, Mi-soo decides to tell a little white lie to connect with him. She claims she also lost a loved one, her mother, as a child, and tells him that one must always look forward to a brighter future. Her heartfelt speech almost seems to work. For a moment, Kang-il looks moved. That is, until her phone rings. "Oh, hi, Mom," she chirps happily into the phone. The lie instantly exposed, a furious Kang-il pulls the car over, physically drags her out, and drives away, leaving her stranded on the side of the road. But Mi-soo's persistence is unshakable. She starts showing up at the fire station every morning with a homemade breakfast just for him. Day after day, Kang-il coldly throws the food directly into the trash can without a second thought. One morning, just as he's about to dump another perfectly good meal, the perpetually hungry fire chief steps in. He simply can't bear to watch the waste anymore.
신새끼 이제 너 밥 한 끼를 못 먹는 애들 생각해 임마! 네가 어디서 감히 음식을 버려?
드실래요?
야 잠깐! 야 잠깐!
Later, a routine rescue mission inside an industrial freezer goes so smoothly that no one notices someone is missing. Back at the station, Kang-il glances at the empty passenger seat beside him, and a cold feeling washes over him. Mi-soo didn't make it back. Without a second thought, Kang-il turns the truck around and races back to the scene. He finds her passed out on the floor, overcome by the lingering fumes. Just as he lifts her, however, a heavy metal door slams shut, locking them inside. A moment later, the newly repaired freezer system roars to life. When Mi-soo woke up, She saw the clouds of mist forming from her breath and thought it was romantic. Kang-il knows better. They are trapped. As the temperature plummets, they try everything to stay warm, their bodies shaking uncontrollably. Hours crawl by and the biting cold begins to blur the edges of their world. Death starts to feel less like a possibility and more like an inevitability. Thinking these might be her last moments, Misu looks at the man beside her and finally asks the question on her mind.
나 좋아하지.
좋아한다고?
그럴 줄 알았지.
As Misu consciousness begins to fade, her body succumbing to the cold, Kang-il makes a desperate choice. He takes off his own protective gear and pulls her into his arms, using the last of his body heat to keep her alive. It's a firefighter's final, most primal instinct, to shield another life with his own. Just as they reach their limit, the sound of the door being forced open echoes through the chamber. They are saved. Few days later, something inside Kang-il shifts. For 3 years, his world had been a landscape of gray, endless grief. But Misu, loud, persistent, and frustratingly alive, had somehow broken through the gloom. For the first time, he starts to remember what it feels like to live. Their dynamic softens. The arguments are replaced by a comfortable quiet. The distance between them begins to close. One evening, softened by alcohol and newfound trust, they finally open their hearts. Kang-il finds himself telling her everything about his late wife. The happy memories, the small details, the unbearable pain of her loss. As he speaks, the memories become so vivid that for a moment, it's his wife's face he sees before him, smiling gently. And Misu, in a gesture of profound empathy, doesn't interrupt. She simply listens, allowing him the space to walk through his past. It's only when he blinks, the illusion fading, that he realizes he has been lost in a waking dream. That night, watching Kang-il mutter in his drunken sleep, Misu's heart ached with a sudden, overwhelming wave of sympathy. She carefully lay down beside him, not with passion, but with a quiet tenderness, offering a silent comfort he so desperately needed. When the soft morning sun warmed their faces, that gentle comfort blossomed into something more. They leaned in and shared their first, real kiss. Afterwards, she softly traced the scars that mapped his body, each one a story of a fire fought, a life saved. She sat up and looked at him, her tone suddenly serious. "You have to take care of yourself," she said. "You can't be so reckless anymore, because you're not alone now." But just as they connected on this deeper level, a knock on the door shattered the moment. Misu didn't mind being seen, but Kang-il panicked, instinctively pushing her to hide in the bedroom. And once again, she was surrounded by the ghost of his past, photos and memories of his late wife. A wave of doubt washed over her. Maybe she had completely misread her place in his heart. Without a word, she quietly slipped out and left. Her personal turmoil was immediately compounded by a message from her lawyer. The patient from her misdiagnosis had passed away. The case had just escalated from malpractice to a potential criminal charge. If she couldn't get favorable evidence, her career was truly over. Desperate, she went to Kang-il one last time, begging him to be that evidence. He was torn. But for a man whose life was built on a code of honor, this was a line he couldn't cross. He tried to convince her to face the family and ask for forgiveness, but she refused, terrified. The fragile bridge they had just built between their hearts crumbled. They parted, not as hopeful lovers, but as two people on opposite sides of an impossible choice. The next day, Misu walked into the hospital and straight into a crisis. A patient's husband had locked himself in his late wife's room. Without a moment's hesitation, Misu grabbed a fire extinguisher, smashed the lock, and burst inside. She found him hanging, lifeless. Others called it, but Misu refused to give up. With a frantic, desperate energy, she began resuscitation, pushing past the point of exhaustion, using every extreme measure she knew. This was more than a procedure for her. It was a chance at redemption. And miraculously, her persistence paid off. A faint heartbeat returned. She had pulled a man back from the very edge of death. In that moment, she wasn't just saving a life. She was saving her own soul. But there was no time to process her victory. Her pager buzzed with an emergency call, one that would make her own heart stop. At a railroad crossing, a devastating car crash had left a vehicle trapped on the tracks. In the distance, the blare of an approaching train grew louder with every second. The victim inside was critically injured, the situation deemed hopeless. But as the team prepared to retreat, Kang-il heard the woman's faint, desperate plea for help. Against protocol and against all odds, he refused to leave her behind. Rallying the team, they pushed with every ounce of their strength. Seconds before impact, as the train thundered towards them, they managed to shove the car off the tracks, barely cheating death itself. While the car was clear, Kang-il had no room to retreat. The train screamed past, its force so immense it nearly ripped him from the ground. He had survived, but only by a razor's edge. And in that moment, Misu finally understood why he was always flying towards the flame, always pushing the limits. It wasn't just bravery, it was a penance. The trauma deep in his heart was a wound that never healed. On the day his wife collapsed, the day she needed him most, he wasn't there. He was out saving a stranger. That single, unforgivable moment became a poison in his soul, shaping him into the reckless, self-sacrificing hero he was today. Misu looked at the rescued woman, fighting with everything she had to save her life in the ambulance. But it was too late. The woman passed away in her arms. Kang-il watched, another life lost, another failure to add to the immense weight on his shoulders. He was drowning in his own silent torment. But watching him, Misu's heart ached with a single thought. He was always in pain for others. But who was in pain for him?
나도 힘들어 미치겠단 말이야.
그럼 끝내. 그만 힘들어하고 이제 그만 끝내자.
그래 끝내자.
If love just means hurting each other, maybe it's better to walk away. They both tell themselves it's for the best. But they were lying. Kang-il, the man who never touched alcohol, drinks himself into a stupor, trying to numb a pain that refuses to fade. Meanwhile, Misu finds solace in the arms of a friend, crying out the heartache she tried so hard to suppress. They quickly learn that for two people who are meant to be together, the only thing that truly hurts is being apart. But amidst the pain, a small miracle occurs. The husband who Misu had saved from the brink of death finally finds the will to live again. The news reaches her, and a profound sense of peace washes over her. Her soul, for the first time in a long time, feels redeemed. Having made peace with her past, she writes her resignation letter. It's time for a new beginning. She finds Kang-il one last time, unsure if this is a confession or a final farewell. As they walk, they find themselves standing before a quiet church. Inside, Misu asks him to turn his back to her. Some words are too heavy, too vulnerable to say face to face. Surrounded by a sacred silence that permits no lies, she takes a deep breath and gives him her truest, most sincere confession.
근데 또 생각해보니까 당신은 한 번도 내가 가진 적이 없는 거 있지. 그래서 이 말이라도 해야겠다 싶더라고. 사랑한다고. 당신이 뭐라든 사랑한다고.
But before Kang-il could process his emotions, the alarm blares. A major building has collapsed. Deep in the unstable basement, a man is pinned beneath a massive concrete pillar. The rescue is a nightmare. The ceiling above groans, threatening to give way at any second. Any wrong move could bring the entire structure down on top of them. the fire chief makes the impossible call. Set up a temporary support and retreat. They had done all they could. The rest was up to fate. The trapped man seems to accept his destiny. He makes one last, heartbreaking call to his wife, his voice eerily calm as he says his final goodbye. But watching this unfold, something inside Kang-il breaks. He looks at this man, ready to give up, and he can't accept it. He refuses to stand by and watch another life be extinguished. In a split-second decision, he defies the order. He is going back in. As he works frantically to free him, the man looks at Kang-il. At a moment like this, he says, the only person you can think of is the one you love. Is there anyone you're thinking of right now? And in the face of death, Kang-il finally admits the truth to himself. Yes, there was.
무서우면 도망가고 위험하면 피하고 막 그렇게 불나방처럼 뛰어들지 말고.
With a newfound clarity, Kang-il gets to work. He uses an airbag to create just enough space to lift the crushing weight and pulls the man free. But their time is up. The groaning ceiling gives way. As they scramble for the exit, the entire structure implodes behind them in a deafening roar, burying them both in rubble. But miraculously, they survive. Lying unconscious in the ambulance, Kang-il's mind is filled with a single beautiful image. Mi-soo's face, smiling like a flower in the sun. When he wakes up, there is only one thing to do. He has to see the person he wants to see most in the world.
야, 이 새끼 어디 가? 미수 만나러. 미친놈.
He runs through the bustling city streets, a man driven by a singular purpose. At the exact same time, Mi-soo, having heard the news, is also running, her heart pounding, desperate to find him. And there, in the middle of a crowded crossroads, their frantic worlds finally collide.
왜? 왜 울어?
죽었잖아. 다친 데. 내 어디가?
너 만나.
만나서 뭐 하려고?
And he catches her, lifting her off the ground in a desperate, relieved embrace. He holds her tight, a man who has finally found his way home. In the face of death, all the misunderstandings, all the grief, and all the pride are stripped away, leaving only a raw, undeniable sincerity. After surviving the hardest trials, after washing away all the superficial layers, they finally see the truth. The person who was always there, stubbornly refusing to leave, was still right in front of them. Love may require a little luck to find you, but it requires a great deal of courage to hold on to. Tell the story with heart, tell the story with sincerity. I'm Pixielow, journeying with you so we both may grow. See you in the next video.